Bloomberg Audio Studios. Podcasts, radio, news.
Please welcome to the stage Alex Rodriguez and Bloomberg's Jason Kelly for a live taping of The Deal.
When we were thinking about who we wanted to be here with us today, we're like, who embodies all of the things that are power players, are The Deal? You know, what are the brands that we might associate? Giants, Notre Dame, and what's the name of that bank that's downtown?
Goldman Sachs.
Goldman Sachs, yes. So
Wharton Business School.
Wharton Business School. I think there's literally only one person who fits that. So please help us welcome, for this very special taping of The Deal, Justin Tuck. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
This is awesome. All right, take it away, champ.
So Justin, I've been such a big fan of yours, and Jason was talking a little bit about some of the accomplishments you've had, some of your history, but being a champion is one thing. Being a champion in New York is another. And I know that I was very fortunate to be part of one title in 2009 with the Yankees, and it's changed my life, it's changed my family, the trajectory of my business. You got 2 titles.
Yeah.
How has that impacted your life?
Listen, I think the first one was just surreal. You do it the first time, and again, it was very early in my career. I think that was year 3 in my career. And, our friend Michael Strahan was the guy. So I was just in awe of like this whole, process. And didn't really didn't hit me until after the Super Bowl. So I didn't necessarily enjoy like the lead up to the Super Bowl because he was, you just didn't know. But that second one, when I was the captain and I had the opportunity of seeing all the things in my life that had changed after we won the first one, and I got to enjoy the process of going through it. Whether that was the road trips, whether that was the media, whether that was, I had a son at that time and he got the opportunity to experience it. That type of stuff is just life-changing. Not only of obviously being in New York and doing it, but just, solidifying that like we did it again. That was just amazing.
So Justin, Notre Dame, then undergrad, then you go to business school at Wharton, then you win 2 titles with the Giants, and now you're at Goldman Sachs. I mean, it's blue chip everywhere.
Yeah.
But take me back. I remember when I was 10 years old, it was the first time that I had a vision for what I wanted my life to be, and I called it the 2 Bs. I was sitting there in New York City, Washington Heights with my father, watching the Yankees, the Mets, and it was at that point that I wanted the 2 Bs, baseball and business. I was driven for those 2 things. When did you first start thinking about business, and which one's harder, business or being a Giant?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I grew up on a pig farm in Kelton, Alabama. There's probably more people in this room than it is in Kelton, Alabama.
I was going to say, if you were waiting for like Kelton, Alabama.
Oh, no.
They're not here.
I'll take Alabama.
Alabama,
state.
Anyone.
No.
Yeah.
See? So for me, I think the only thing I thought about was, from a sports perspective, is how do I utilize football to provide a phenomenal education that my parents can't afford. My mom and dad was not going to be able to send me to Notre Dame. My mom and dad was not going to be able to send me to Wharton. But I knew if I did what I needed to do on the football field, and I played basketball and baseball, I knew that was going to afford me the opportunity to go other places. And so, like, for me, I never thought about anything other than, hey, play a great football, get a great education. The time when I started to think about all the other ancillary things that could come off of this, I'm talking to my cousin at the time, and this is my rookie year in the league, and he said something to me that he had probably heard from someone else, and this is somewhat of a known phrase now, but like he said, the NFL stands for not for long. And I just started thinking about, all right, if I'm blessed to play 4 years, even if I'm blessed to play 10, I came to the league when I was 21 years old, I'd be 31 when I retired. What am I going to do then? And so I started thinking about that and started really making relationships with people. I tell all of my friends that play in leagues now, I'm like, make these relationships now while you're hot. Don't wait till you're the 12th year in and you're just hanging on and you're trying to go into some some private equity owner or some hedge fund founder. No, do that stuff now while you're hot, while you're winning Super Bowls or you're playing in All-Star games, and then they can be a part of your journey, right? I had so many guys that were part of my journey of taking young Justin Tuck to think about going to Gordon, think about going to Goldman Sachs, think about investing in XYZ. Whereas if I was left to my own advices there, I which is fine, I'll probably be back on a farm somewhere in Alabama, which I love to do, but I probably wouldn't be doing this if I didn't have those relationships prior to lead me to what the opportunities could be.
Well, and it's interesting too to think about what your playbook was, because there are, and as there often are on this show, like echoes to you. Alex has talked about how he would literally like go in his cleats and into Jerry Reinsdorf's office or other owners. My understanding is you were literally like working the suites at Giant Stadium, right? Yeah. Is that fair?
Oh no.
When I say working, I mean networking.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know if it's even legal for me to get this information, to be honest with you. But I had a phenomenal relationship with the Giants, their ownership, and people that work. And I was just like, man, who owns that? Who is it? And most of the time they would know, that guy, he runs XYZ Financial Services, or this guy, his family owns, this real estate group, whatever it looks like. And like over time, I was just like, I just had a good game. It's Monday. I'm not doing anything. I should be making relationships. So I started talking to our staff about, hey, is there anybody I should be talking to? So I got names of people who own the suites and started just reaching out to them and just, doing a coffee chat or dinner or lunch or whatever it looked like. And I didn't want anything. I didn't go in and say, hey, can you help me here? I was interested in how they got to where they got to. What are some things that you can tell me about your story or your process or your journey that if I decide to go this route, because I don't believe in reinventing the wheel. I think people have come before all of us that have done things that we would like to do. So just learn from them and try not to make the same mistakes they made. So that was the premise. And then again, over time, they got to see me for 8-9 years in the journey of Justin Tuck. And now I'm at Goldman Sachs, and you better believe I'm calling those people and being like, hey. So that part of it was phenomenal in my transition. Because I tell people all the time, transition, if you're thinking about transitioning from something, make it a long transition. Don't try to just transition. Because if you think about, look at me in football. Think about how long I played football to get to that point. So if I'm transitioning into finance, why do I think I'm going to go from being a highly touted football player or athlete and go right into the next transition as that highly touted person in finance or person in real estate or person in whatever it is you're doing? No. You need to get back to being the Pop Warner person over here and go through that process of learning all the ancillary things that's going to make you that Pro Bowl caliber or that All-Star caliber businessman, and not think that our ego is so great that we got to go from here to here. Mm-hmm. That's not realistic.
Now, you're building teams at Goldman Sachs. Kind of the same things you were doing with the Giants. You mentioned you were the captain of the team, right? What lessons and how has that mindset translated to the world of business?
Yeah, I think if I think about things that I would do on a daily basis as a captain of a football team, and now as a managing director of leading teams at Goldman, it's very simple, to be honest with you. Like, invest in the people around you. In football, it looks different. It might be, hey, I'm bringing this rookie and his family into our house and cooking him a meal and making sure I learn everything there is to know about him, his story, his wife, his kids, et cetera, et cetera. And I use that on football fields too. I mean, 4th and 1, and we need to make a stop. I know exactly what triggers this person. I know exactly what his motivations is. I know exactly what's going to get him so hyped for this moment, right? In the 4th quarter, and we need to get a stop to win a Super Bowl, and we're tired, and I know exactly how to point those, the right things. I knew which guy liked for me to curse him out on the football field. I knew which guy needed to pull to the side and pat him on his back and say, man, it's okay, you're doing this right? Keep doing what you're doing. I knew exactly how to finagle that. And the same thing in the business. And my teams at Goldman, I know exactly how to position our team. And again, as we bring on new people, you got to learn that. But I know exactly how to position them, what clients they need to be paired with, and which ones the synergies are right for this person to be paired with that client, et cetera, et cetera. And I think it's simple. If you pay attention to people, if you take an ownership in knowing what your team looks like and what really moves the needle for them, it allows you to make the right decisions around a lot of different things in the business.
And so from a business perspective, as Alex alluded to, you were blending this early, your interest in business, but you also had to think about your business as a football player.
Yeah.
How did you think about that? And I know Alex had this experience of getting smarter about the world of baseball and negotiations and all of that. How did you do that, and how did you think about your deal making as a player?
Yeah, I think back to your point about when you win, you get more opportunities. You get opportunity to sit in some of these rooms that when I was a rookie, the contract was a contract. It was, you trusted your agent to do the right things for you and get the best outcome for you. As you got older and you had more success, you could dictate a little bit more, right? And you could tell your agent, hey, I want to play for this team, or I don't want to play for that team. I like this, and then with the relationships I had with the Mayer family and the Tisch family and the GMs, I could talk about things around hey, here's where I think I'm weak, we're weak. Here's where I think I can get stronger, and et cetera, et cetera. Here's where I think the team can get stronger. And they listened to us. They didn't listen to me to the point where it was we're going to just go out and hey, Justin, give us a list of players. But they listened to us from the perspective that they knew, at the time after Stray left, it was me and Eli's team. So they knew that we owned that locker room.
Eli Manning, we are discussing.
That guy.
For those of you not on a first name basis,
Eliza Manning.
Yeah.
So we owned the locker room. That locker room was our place, and we didn't allow nonsense in it. But to that point, we knew the players. We knew because we were just an extension of Coach Coughlin, right? And we knew how to navigate that locker room in a way that we could go back in the offseason and say, hey, here's where we're strong, here's where we're weak. That was the start of kind of my deal making or negotiations with when I was thinking about contracts at a later point.
One of the things that we've obviously touched on, but I want to sit for a minute with is, you do it, talk about deals, you do a deal, 1-day contracts, you can retire as a Giant, great move. And then you decide to go to business school. That's a big decision. Then you decide to go work for Goldman Sachs. When you list the sort of places you've been, I think you're one of one. And so why did you make those decisions? Why did you decide to go to school, and then why did you decide to go to Goldman?
There's a lot of decisions there, but it was probably because I wanted to learn how to be a better steward of the gifts and the talents and the resources God had given me. Again, growing up where I grew up, not a lot of people get the opportunities that I had, and I didn't want to squander those opportunities. So me going back to business school was to get smarter about, honestly, just managing my own opportunities. Now that morphed into a lot more, but that was the infancy of the idea.
You wanted to know more about how to run the business of Justin.
Absolutely. Because I was getting inbounds from all different opportunities, right? Whether that be on the real estate side, whether that be, going into media. I dabbled in that for a little bit. And then also, on the financial side. So I wanted to learn more about that. Goldman, honestly, was because my grandfather used to say something to me that stuck. To this day, I use it often. He goes, if you're not at the table, you're on the menu. And what he meant by that was there's so many cases in history where decisions have been made for us. And so when I think about the relationships and the conversations I had in those locker rooms and the advice I had to give kids, and I say kids, rookies and younger players about how to navigate New York City, whether that was from on the field, off the field situation, when I was really, really thinking about what I wanted to do, I started to really think about, how do I represent us at the highest of my ability? And I couldn't think of any other place that gave me an opportunity to be in these rooms and be a part of these decision-making deals than in a place like Goldman Sachs. And I get the opportunity to talk to, a lot of our partners of the firm, obviously David and John, who are doing an absolutely phenomenal job.
David Solomon and John Waldron, again.
I think they know.
This guy. I mean,
No,
like the first names. I mean, you know.
I still call them Mr. and Mr. and Mr. But they don't like that, so I call them David and John. But like, I get the opportunity to see that, and the thing that I always tell my team is I don't really care about owning a bigger piece of the pie. I care about making the pie bigger. So yeah, that's what wakes me up in the morning, and I think that's what drives me to continue to be successful. That's why Goldman.
Platform,
100%.
So Justin, when you think about when you were a rookie, and in recent news, you saw there was an investor that came in for a 10% piece for the Giants at $10 billion. When you were a rookie, it was probably 1, 2, or 3. It's probably 4x, 5x, 7x.
Yeah.
Couple questions there. What do you think is the best investment in sports? And what do you make of this whole thing? Where does it stop? Where does it go?
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
Listen, I think Roger Goodell and team are doing.
You're a quick study. I love it. That's good.
I'll give you another tip one about me. I listen loudly. But I think Roger is doing a phenomenal job, and it would be hard pressed to think that there's an investment in sports better than the NFL. I'm biased. There's a lot of people who represent a lot of sports leagues and sports franchises out there that would argue that, and I would take that argument. But again, where does it stop? I don't know if it does. If you think about where media rights are going, and now private equity money coming in, and the consolidation around, media, et cetera, I'm not smart enough to know where it stops. I'm not betting on it. I think it is a popular game that's getting more popular.
I guess a better question is, if you were the championship year in your second or third year, right?
Yeah.
If somebody told you the Giants would be worth $10 billion in 2025, would you have said true or false?
I probably would have said false. So it'd be interesting to see as we sit here today, in 2025, in 2035, where this goes. But I have no reason to think that it might have a slowing down power, but I don't think it has a stopping power.
You know, you alluded to something, Justin, you mentioned it, private equity coming in. You know, I had a conversation earlier today with Tom Garfinkel and Mike Garaghetti about Ares investment in the Dolphins. You know, you are, through your studies and now through your day-to-day work, very familiar with the power of institutional capital. How does that change the business of sports in your estimation? You know, we went through this period where David Blitzer and Josh Harris and Mark Lasry, et cetera, were making personal investments. Now it's fund investments. How does that alter the landscape, especially for people in this room who are thinking about investing in sports?
When you bring in that much capital in and being able to do a lot of different things, I think the movement in sports investing is going to be very interesting. I don't think it's going to stop. I think you're only going to see more others get involved in it. And just going back to the Giants deal, right? You think about, that valuation with no control, no path to ownership. What's stopping the next owners from doing that? Like, there's a lot of different issues that I have to deal with on a daily basis for clients, whether that's estate issues, tax issues, et cetera. But I just feel like we're at the cusp of this, and it's going to start to happen in not only the major sports leagues, but also some of the smaller ones too, where valuations are getting so high. What individual can afford these teams? Right, and as families like the Mara and Tisch family look for liquidity, I think the next option is private equity.
Thinking about the future, the question that I would think about is, what would an investor pay for Notre Dame football?
Yeah,
and I'm just thinking, like, what world are we in, and how fast is it moving?
But as well as I know, right? Sometimes this is just a play of forget the numbers. I just want to own this asset. Mm-hmm. So a lot of times that can get outrageous. I remember when Ballmer bought the Clippers at what was it, $2 billion?
$2 billion.
And now everybody was like,
you were like, you're
crazy?
Insane.
And
crazy
now,
yeah.
I think, who knows, right?
But when you think about the college game, we watched, You watched, and you watched with much more vested interest. I watched just as a college football fan, Notre Dame play University of Miami the other night. That was a phenomenal game, in part because of everything that was on display, including the transfer portal, NIL money, all of those things. These are the things that didn't exist when you went to one of the premier, you would probably say the premier, college football programs in the country. When you look at that through the Wharton Goldman, Justin Tuck lens, what do you make of college sports these days?
Listen, I just wish I was 18-year-old, 17-year-old kid, in some cases, 16-year-old kid. Like, they're going, it's even diving into college, in high school.
High school, yeah.
Right? So, like, I definitely think these athletes deserve to get paid, because for those who wasn't a college athlete, there's not much else for you to do. The program is so demanding on your time, and for good reason, right? They're giving you a phenomenal education most places. And you get an opportunity to play the sport you love basically for free. But like outside of that, I didn't get the opportunity to really, really engage with the student body as much as I would have if I had a few dollars in my pocket, right? And who knew that these athletes are going to be making millions in college?
Yeah, it's more than a few dollars in the pocket
a few
now.
more.
Yeah.
I definitely think they deserve to get paid. I just hope that this thing gets some structure around it before it really, really gets out of control.
All right, so in our remaining couple minutes, we're going to do our rapid fire that we do on every episode of The Deal. First thing that comes to your mind.
Sure.
All right. Yeah. You seem enthusiastic.
These never go well.
What's one word to describe your deal-making style?
Truthful.
What's more important to you, data or gut?
I would say gut that has been fed the right data.
There you go.
Who's your dream deal-making partner?
I don't really have a dream person, but Alex Rodriguez.
Oh, boy.
All right. I love it. Jason loves that one.
I know.
No, what's the best piece of advice you ever received on deal making or business?
If you tell the truth, it's easy to remember.
What's the worst advice you've been given?
You're special.
What is your hype song?
There's a story behind that, by the way. What's my hype song? Phil Collins in the air tonight.
Ooh, the drum solo?
Yeah.
There you go. You started a literacy nonprofit called Rush with your wife, Lauren. What's your favorite book?
Wow. I'm going to give a shot to a friend of mine. I love reading The Other Westmore.
Ooh,
Okay.
really good.
If you can only watch one sport for the rest of your life, which one is it?
Y'all going to be surprised by this one, and it's not even about me. It's about my wife. Because if I had to watch another sport, I want her right beside me. So she loves tennis, so I would watch tennis.
Oh, there you go.
Oh,
Very
teddy bear.
sweet answer.
Smart.
Yeah.
She's going to see this.
You're not gonna make us cry.
What team do you want to see win a championship more than any?
Notre Dame Fighting Irish football program. Just to be very clear.
Just in case anyone doubted who we were talking about.
All right, what's your advice for someone who wants a career just like yours?
Do the work. No shortcuts in this. Do the work. So,
All right. Well, and on that note, go Irish.
Go Irish.
All right. Thank you, Justin,
Thank
so
you,
much.
guys.
The Deal is a production from Bloomberg Podcasts and Bloomberg Originals. The Deal is hosted by Alex Rodriguez and Jason Kelly. This show was produced by Anna Mazarakis, Stacey Wong, Lizzie Phillip, and Eden Martinez. Original music and engineering by Blake Maples. Our booker is Paige Keffer. David E. Ravella is our managing editor. Our executive producers are Jason Kelly, Amy Keene, Jordan Opplinger, Trey Shallowhorn, Regina Delia, Kelly LaFerrier, and Ashley Honig. Sage Bauman is our head of podcasts. Special thanks to Rachel Carnevale, Elena Sausangelis, Nick Silva, Adrian Toscano, Mark Dawson, Michael Katz, and Micah Rondo. Joshua DeVoe is our director of photography. Rubab Shakir is our creative director. Art direction is from Jacqueline Kessler. Camera operation by Suma Hussein, Stephen Craig, Christopher DeCunha, Michael Torellas, and Black Dog. Taja Smith is our video editor. You can listen to The Deal on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. You can also tune into the video companion on Bloomberg Originals and on Bloomberg TV. Thanks for listening.